The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert, and we want to thank you for getting up bright and early with us on this Tuesday morning. Jack, how are you feeling? It's hump day.
Good. It's hump day?
Yeah. You remember?
I'm like, no, it's not. It's definitely Tuesday. You got me.
I got Jack. Success. It's going to be a great day.
I picked up my phone so fast. I'm like, hold on. I have the wrong day. No, I feel good. I went to sleep nice and early. When I say early, it was like 10.
Okay.
No, I'm not. It was like 9:15. And I only woke up once during the night at 2:30.
You did better than me because I definitely went to sleep after 11. But so it goes. We are still well rested, or at least rested enough to bring y'all some feel good vibes this morning. And thank you once again for joining us. Good morning to you, Michael Anthony Musson. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, Sherry, I did pull a Jacky on Jacky. So yes, if I got you this morning, no, today is Tuesday. It is definitely Tuesday, but it's a short week for Jacky and I. So technically, this is our hump day. And if you haven't already, please take a minute to share this episode with your friends and family, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Make sure you help us get this conversation out there, because today, Jacky and I are talking about relationship goals and what are some holiday expectations that couples and singles have alike. That's definitely a conversation you want to get into as we get ready to count down to Christmas this Saturday. So let's talk about what are some awkward and maybe not so awkward moments that tend to happen for the holidays. And if you want to test your knowledge against Jacky in trivia time with Terri, make sure you stick around for that feel good vibe of the day. I do have 3 more holiday related questions to actual, so we'll see who gets it right first. You say what?
I'm getting them all right.
All right, I'm going to start with an easy one so that we can have this streak going well. And let's start off with our feel good warm up. All right, so yesterday, this was brought up in the conversation. No, we didn't talk about it, but we're going to talk about it today. Tuku modeling. So first of all, did you see my Instagram post? That's actually audience that. Did you see it?
I was like, oh my God, look at my friend. Yeah.
So Michael Anthony Musson says, I'm up early to ask Terri about Terri the supermodel. So yes, let's talk about this.
Because you know it's 6 o'clock out there.
Right?
I know that struggle.
Early. So yes, thank you so much for joining us. So yeah. Yes, I did post. So that was actually photos from my company's holiday party. And so we had photographers the last time, but I just didn't partake the last time we had them just because I guess I didn't feel like it. But this time I did because I was doing it myself. So I was like, well, I'm getting pictures. I'm making sure I get pictures this time. And yeah, so that was my holiday outfit.
I need you to help me, because as you remember when we did our photo shoot, I was awkward. I will be there and support everybody else, like, yes, work it, turn your head, smile, Vogue, and then it's me, and she's like,
And so that was definitely my experience with Jack. And I was like, Jack, what's just be you? And she was like, I am, but it's like I don't like when I'm on. And I was like, oh, I do get that. I do get that. It does feel in the
Yeah, but
beginning.
you kill it every time. Like Terry will be like, yeah, that looks great. And then she'll walk and she'll be like, and I'm just like, hey, it's me. But I was, I'm still trying to figure out, like, is it okay for me to share on my page? Like, should I just let her audience see it? Or like,
You can
I
absolutely
was
share that.
just like, you know what? I'm gonna
Public
share it
account.
because if we're talking about it, that means I can absolutely just like broadcast it because that's my
Absolutely.
friend.
I am. And so yes, Sherry, thank you so much. I did model back in the day many moons ago. I did, don't get me to lying on the name. Jacoma Modeling Agency was the first one that I did. And then I did like fashion shows, high school fashion shows. I did them in college. I stopped like my second year or my third year in college. I can't remember, but that's when I basically hung up my heels. And so I haven't really done a photo shoot since. And so even our photo shoot together, I was a little nervous because I was like, I haven't done this in a while and I'm here with someone else. So now it's like, I got to make sure that we both bring ourselves, the best of ourselves. But modeling can definitely be a stressful situation because you're on.
You brought
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And Sherry says the sultry eyes. Listen, I had to serve. Okay.
I was like, oh my soul. Are you leaving my body?
But I will say, like, so I haven't done a photo shoot in a while, but it is a confidence booster to get pictures taken, professional pictures, and even when you take pictures of yourself, they don't have to be professional. But it does feel great to like see yourself in a polished, put together look, because then you feel like, all right, that's me. She cute.
Yes. I was like,
and yes, I am your friend.
I love this suit.
Let's talk about this suit, okay? Because I have to give a shout out to my stylist, Kamini Fox, who actually helped me put together that look, and just some looks that I have come out down the pipeline. Because you and I have talked probably personally around the fact that my wardrobe is not an adult wardrobe. It is just a wardrobe. And so 2022, I'm definitely focusing on building my wardrobe. And you and I have shared, like, I totally like, I don't have, a go-to dress if I did have a formal event or just a dress to wear to a formal event. So it's like I would have to purchase something.
Meanwhile, my closet.
But yeah, so even just talking to you about that, I was like, it's actually a thing. Like Teresa, there are things you need to have in your closet in the event.
I have 3 black tie dresses, 4 cocktail or 5. I used to have more, 4 or 5 cocktail dresses, and then I have smart casual wear, and then lounge, and then of course I have my actual tennis clothes, but sometimes those turn into lounge as well.
Sports/leisure.
Just I don't play as much, so I'm like, I gotta use these clothes. If not, like, what am I doing? What are you doing? Like,
they're just here.
Yeah. They usually like travel up into my parents' closet because they have a huge walk-in, and my mom would be like, "When did your dresses get up here?" I was just like, "So I walked them up like 3 days ago, and I said something in your closet." And you didn't hear me. You not acknowledging me does not mean that I stop doing what I'm doing. It's on you now. I yelled it out. That's how it goes.
You didn't hear it. That's not my fault. So so is it that you have too much stuff in your closet? That's why you're using the upstairs closet, or is it just that you need some separation because you're not wearing those clothes right now?
I just feel like theirs has better filtering air.
Oh, got you. So the clothes could actually last longer. Yes.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't know. I feel like my closet, because it's just a basic, how you open up the door. It's one of those old ones you open up the door and it's like you gotta walk in to get it, but it's big. So I have to renovate it to make it, because I have one on either side. I have to renovate it so it could be a walk-in because it has the potential. But people that readjusted it from a walk-in closet to a sectional closet, they weren't thinking.
They weren't. That was a smart.
No. So I was just like, I don't need like they use the other side for a, I guess, coat closet and linen closet, but I don't need that because I have a laundry room. That's
interesting.
That goes in there. It's right on the other side of my apartment, so that's fine.
Right.
But no, it's not the best closet.
Well, it sounds like you have plans to fix it up, make it better, make it what it used to be, because it sounds like it started off as a walk-in and then it transitioned to not being a walk-in. But that's okay because, I feel like you have big dreams for your closet, and that is great. I actually want to come back to the comments before we take our first commercial break. So Michael Anthony Mustin says Terry was out to stop traffic that night. That was probably a subconscious thought process, but it wasn't the initial thought process. And yes, everyone did enjoy the outfit when they saw it in person. I could definitely tell you that. Most people said only you, and I was like, well, I'm that person at work, so gotta
represent.
spice it up. And so Mikey goes on to say, I've known Jackie for I don't know how long, and I've never seen her dress up. Jack, is that like
crazy? That's crazy because most of my childhood growing up, my parents had like the charity events and celebrity classics. Like I had to, like my 19th birthday, 18th and 19th birthday, I was at like a black tie gala.
Oh, you was adult.
Yeah, like that was my.
Put on the clothes.
I got like probably like 4 or 5 dresses that year. I just didn't know which ones I wanted.
Oh, to wear to the events and then that's another thing too, having too much clothes in your closet and then not burn them.
I wore 3 out of the 5, so that's fine.
Well, you more than half, so we're gonna go with that. Sherry says, I keep an outfit in my closet for any event, and I love it because I don't stress about looking for anything. Maybe just add something if need be. See, I need to get my life together. I will be doing that in 2022. I'm gonna sort out my wardrobe. On that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then Jackie and I will be back to talk about relationship skills. We're going to be discussing some of the holiday expectations that both couples and singles have during this season. So make sure you stick around to participate in that conversation with Jackie and
I. Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. If you're just joining us, we're getting ready to transition to our feel-good topic of the day. Today, we're talking about relationship skills. So this was sparked by an Instagram post that we saw, which actually the Instagram post, just real quick question to the audience. Who in your mind, which celebrity in your mind are you in a relationship with? What celebrity doesn't know you and they are together, but you and they have a serious, long-term relationship going on? Let us know in the comments. Jackie, I know who your person is, but I need you to let the audience know who your person is and why he's your person.
Which person did I tell you?
The basketball player.
Okay. Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
Oh my God. He's just got if you follow him on Instagram or just look at him, he is so funny, and he's just like quirky and awkward and fashionable, and I don't know, like I just feel like him and I will have a blast, and I like prank each other. So it's not just a long term; it's a long distance relationship as well.
Like he's not even the same country.
But, and like from what I see, he's my boy. Like we'd have so much fun.
That is hilarious. And so when Jackie told me that, so the first time she mentioned his name, I was like, who is this person? So then I had to go find him on social media. That was the first time she introduced me to him, and she was going away to see the basketball game. And then, so now I'm hip to who this man is, and he is a looker. He's definitely a looker. And now when she said who her person was, I was like, well, of course it'll be that person, because you talk about him like all the time. So I totally get it. So Michael says Patrice Roberts is his person, and he says also now me, that I'm the model. So shout outs to me for being but you know me, so it's kind of like, but I guess I'm not a celebrity. Don't say that. I'm not that person. But Patrice Roberts, she is boss. Like she body,
body,
like that body
personality. Yeah.
I love her, and her music always just hits every soca season. Like I've never heard a song from her that I didn't enjoy. Maybe the rest of the world didn't really like it for like a bird or whatever type of vibe, but I always like her music when she drops some for circa season.
Oh yeah.
I don't really have a social media person. I mean, not social media, a celebrity that I like swoon over like that. But I would say, if I thought off the top of my head, Eric Bellinger is like the person that I listen to the most, and all of his songs make me think like, yeah, if somebody like this was in a relationship with me, bruh, they would get it like 9 days of the week. Like the
I
song.
always feel like musicians are red flags.
I mean, they get it. That is true. Because sometimes you don't know if their art is like their reality or someone else's reality, and they're just inspired by it. And so there's moments where I'm like,
I was listening, like, for example, I was listening to Trey songs the other day.
red flags.
He has got a few scandals, right?
Red
Like,
flags.
so I'm just like putting those math equations together. I'm like, ooh,
doing the, like, you know, the math.
I don't want this carnival. You could keep that carnival, keep that ride. I'll skip. Thank you.
Absolutely. So if you're just joining us, Jacky and I were just discussing who our celebrity crushes are that we're in relationship with in our head. If you didn't get a chance to let us know, go ahead and drop that in the comments. So we actually just want to start off by asking you all and ourselves, what are some of your relationship goals? Because we see often the hashtag relationship goals on social media that actually became a really big trend for a lot of celebrity couples, and some of those couples are no longer together. So it begs the question, like, what are your relationship goals? Like, what do you base them on? Do you base it on what you see in someone else's relationship, or do you base it on something that you feel within your own relationship? So let's talk about it. What about you, Jack? Because I know you and I had a short conversation before we started today's show.
So as I was saying,
before she was rudely interrupted
by the countdown. She's like, time, we're gonna go. I'm like,
She's like, okay,
fine. We'll talk about it on the show. I like to pick, so it's like a buffet, right? You pick what you like out of that. So I would look at relationships and be like, oh my god, I love how he like helps her like carry her stuff, like she doesn't have to carry anything. And then I look at somebody else and I'm like, listen to how they communicate to each other, and how no matter how upset they got with each other, they talk, they never yell, they never raise their voice. I love that. Like, I grew up with parents that never raised their voices.
Mm-hmm.
So when people yell at me, I'm like, oh,
you're shocked.
That doesn't work for me. Yeah. That shuts you down. That shuts you out. You are now no longer a contender in this game. Sorry. But I like to pick different things if that's what we're talking, like if we're talking based on what we see as we're out and about on our daily lives and walks. That's things that I'll do. I'm like, oh, I like that. But obviously, if in Bermuda, you tend to know a little bit more in depth of what people's relationships are. And I'm like, your whole relationship is not girls, but
a portion.
This little snippet I'll take, and I feel like I could just take and pull from different people and create my perfect relationship. But that doesn't exist, to be honest.
It doesn't.
Remember, like, we've all watched the Tyler Perry, where it's the 80-20 rule, where it's just like you can get 80% of the good stuff, but then it's like 20% I'm got faults. Like, I'm perfect for 80% of it, and then 20% I have downfalls, which is normal, right? Because I have my little, whatever my percentage is. I like to say I have 5% wrong with me, because most of the time I'm so good.
When Jacky grades herself, she will always get 100%, like always.
No, I mean like 99.9.
Basically, right? So, audience, go ahead and let us know in the comments, what are some of your relationship goals? I know for me, similar to what you just talked about, Jack, around like looking at other relationships and just, finding the good moments in them and, celebrating that. But I also do like to see some of the challenges to kind of discern, would that be something that I can handle? Because sometimes you'll see a bad situation in a relationship, like a person cheats, and you don't necessarily know what their relationship kind of dynamic is. Like, that might actually be okay in their relationship, but is that a go for me? Probably not, because I don't want to share my person with someone else. However, they might have other things in the relationship that I think is great. I know one thing for me that's a relationship goals, which is actually a local couple that we've had the wife on the show. And so Mary Moose and her husband Oates, I forget Oates' real name because I went to school with him, so I just call him Oates. But nonetheless, they have a very supportive relationship that I see, and even not only do I see it, but I've experienced it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a girl that I see in not just their relationship, other relationships as well, when they're both supportive of each other's girls, or even just supportive of them as people. I think that's really a really important girl to have in a relationship, because I do feel like sometimes if you're working on something and your partner doesn't support you, that kind of feels like your work isn't good. Like you kind of like use that as a kind of barometer to tell, like, okay, am I doing good work in this world? Like, is this helping people? And no, it's not necessarily meant to help your partner, but if your partner's supporting you and encouraging you during your journey, it kind of helps give you a little bit more confidence in what you're doing. So I definitely think support is probably like the biggest relationship skill. You mentioned communication, which is
and
honestly
oriented. Ooh, if you don't get along with your family, I
that's
mean,
a big
I
one.
probably won't get along with your family, and that is
then we're already screwed. We're
Yeah.
both screwed. Like, if you don't get along with your family, how am I gonna get along with your family? They are your family.
Still, like most, I have yet to join a family where I'm not like majority.
You're a lovable person, so
like
it's very difficult.
at least majority of the people love me, but I need the main factors in your life, the main people in your life, to love me. Because if I feel that you don't like me even in the slightest, now I feel like I'm in position, which will now ruin everything else. It's a trickle effect, right? Like a domino effect. So if I walk in and they make me feel some type of way, now I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna be like, I don't ever want to be put in this position again, which means I don't want to be around your family.
At all.
But that person, if that person's gonna be there, I'm not gonna be there, because I don't want to be in an awkward situation in somebody else's house, because I can't put them in the place, like I can't put them in the place in their own house, but I think that's disrespectful. Like, you're talking to in my house, this is
my house.
I pay the bills in here, you could get out of here. So I just decide, like, that's not gonna work. So if you're not got a good relationship with your family, then I'm not gonna have
it's gonna be difficult. And I wouldn't say you're not gonna have one, but it will be difficult, because then it's like, well, if I have a better relationship with your family, then
no, I feel like I'm
supposed
to be around your family and you don't want to be. So that's an issue right there.
And if you're just joining us, audience, as you can see, Jacky and I are talking about relationship goals. If you haven't already had a chance to let us know in the comments, let us know what some of your relationship goals are. They can be actual people. You can tell us the people that you look at for girls, or what about the relationship you see that is a girl that you want to have in your relationship. Or even if you're in a current relationship, what are some of the things about your current relationship that was a girl for you that you're kind of like holding on to? I wanted to come back when you mentioned communication, Jack. I feel like people are getting better with communicating. We're struggling now with comprehension and understanding what's being said and the intent behind what's being said. Because, sometimes people will be petty and will make sarcastic comments and will kind of try to be passive aggressive. And so that's like an emotional intelligence part that you need to work on. But then there's also like people are probably just trying to communicate, and the words are maybe not coming out in the best way, or they're struggling to understand if you understand what they're saying. And so they're changing their words as they're talking. And then, so now they're rambling, and now they've gone all the way to the right or the left, and they've confused you, or they've confused themselves. And now we're like in this moment of like, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's where I prefer to have any like in-depth conversations in person, because I want to hear your tone. I want to see your body language. I want to see your, like, obviously not just your body language, but your facial expression, because sometimes you can keep your body as still, but I can see your eyes dilate, your nose flare, and your
that stir, you're like,
what is it? Your mouth change direction. So I want to see all of that. And then I want you to elaborate, because if you say X, Y, and Z, and just to make sure I'm not taking this the wrong way, do you mean blah, 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 blah? Because that's what I'm getting from the words that you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm overreacting because, it could be a heated situation. So you're going to take everything out of context. So it's better to have those conversations in person. So if you're capable of sitting down and having those hard, tough conversations with me, then by all means. And it could take hours, because I'm going to need to take a break. I'm going to be like, hey, all right, intermission.
And cut. Let's take a pause. Time out. We'll be right back. It's halftime.
Let me digest that and then come back.
That was actually a great tip around repeating back what the person said to them. Is that what you mean? Because that's what I'm getting from it. Because, sometimes people, we could, like you said, be face to face in a conversation and still have miscommunication. Like, we can legitimately be right in front of each other.
I said, it's like, I'm dumb. I'm slow.
No,
So
you don't.
I do, because that way, it lowers the expectation. Sorry.
For the person.
Yes. So that way they can be like, one, you're not dumb, and two, this is what I meant. And it kind of like softens it. It's like a little jokey joke in between.
I like that. That's a really good. We're just giving out tips. This was the intention. It was definitely more meant to be a
And
conversation.
you know what's crazy?
Papa tips.
What's crazy about this? We're single. Single
And
means
that's
best relationship advice.
we see we're giving what we would like to see. We're giving what we like to see. So Michael guys will just say, I'm single. My goal is to wait for after Christmas to not be single. No boyfriend level presents. I feel like that's a cop out, but I get it. If you ain't playing for it, don't make sense trying to scramble to get something all together.
Like getting in a relationship, an early relationship right before Christmas is so awkward. Like, what do you get them? Because I'm the person that's just like, all right, the hottest thing is a PS5. And it's just like, but I've only known this person for 6 months. I've only been dating them for 2. So I guess a sweater.
Socks?
I mean, socks are bomb, especially on one-track socks.
Pro tip, get you some. They have them. They got the winter ones. The winter collection is out right now. So if you haven't copped any, make sure you get some. Random shameless plug. And so next question. So when you were just talking about, Jacqueline, getting into a relationship right before the holidays is kind of awkward. It's like, what are some expectations that couples have versus singles and vice versa? Like, we often hear expectations around, especially the holidays too, right? Like going to see someone's family, making sure you get them a gift, making sure you spend time with them specifically, not just with their family, but them individually, making sure you're spending quality time with your family, like all of these different rules, we'll call them. So what are some expectations that you think couples have during this time of the year?
So as most of you guys know, my family hosts Christmas, and we are very big on Christmas dinner or lunch because it starts at like 12 and then it goes majority of the day. If your family gathering doesn't clash with my family gathering, then we're doing both. I mean, we're going to do both regardless, but we're going to do most likely my parents first, because obviously my last relationship was the longest, but prior to that, most people's Christmas starts at like 4 or 5.
Right,
like,
so you had time.
So whereas mine starts early, but we've always had like my cousins have to leave and go to their other family. My sisters were in relationships, they have to go to their family. So we always like moved ours to start at 2 so that people could go to their dinners at 6. And then they start to get earlier, so we moved it up to 12. So that way we could always try and do both. But the expectation is for you to just like come. We're a very friendly, open house. Like, come talk politics with us. Just joking. No, but
don't ruin the holiday dinner with that conversation.
There will always be an unnecessary conversation somewhere. I'm gonna find a way to bring it up. Like, so it could be about sports too. I will somehow find a way to tell my dad that his team is not better than my team.
Oh my gosh! So the football, so the EPL comes to the conversation.
Yeah, or somehow like. One of my cousins is a psychologist, so I will ask her some questions. It's always something, but we always do. There's 2 sections of the table, like the adults, the real adults, and then the other adults.
The adult juniors.
The semi-adults, the semi-juniors.
The ones that are adulting, we're not really adults, we're adulting. We're still figuring this out.
Kind of got it. But no, come to Christmas dinner and then we'll go to yours. And when it comes to gifts, I love gifts, but I'm not good at receiving them at the same time. So something small, but don't force me to open it in front of you.
In case your reaction isn't what they're expecting.
Yeah. Well, I'm weird with my reactions. Like if you like, because I don't know how to act, so I'm like nervous. So I open, I'm just like, oh my god, it's amazing. But on the inside, I'm like, you got me something. This is amazing. But I'm just like,
you don't want to deal with it.
Don't act so like weird. Like, hold that for next year when they've known you for a year and they already are in love with you and they can't get away from you. Like, you gotta hold that back. So you're just like, oh my god, this is so nice. Whereas I'm like freaking out. I want to do cartwheels because like you got me something, and I love small stuff. You could get me a bag of old dress chips and I am over the moon. I remember
anything food, like how she always relates it back to food though. Like she said, you could get me a bag. I thought she was gonna stop at a purse, right? I was like, oh, she's gonna what, like a Taufa bag or a Birkin bag. She said, you can get me a bag of chips. A bag of chips.
Because I'm all that and a bag of chips.
I love it here. So Jason Shirley says, always have to expect that annoying question from that particular auntie in the corner when you're getting married. Bore me less. Let's actually talk about this particular expectation, whether you're single or a couple that's not married at that point. It can be a really weird moment because it's like, especially if you haven't had the conversation yet. Let's say even in our fictional relationships, they just started right before the holidays, and the first question you're asking, or one of the questions you're asking at the holiday dinner is, so when are you getting married?
I don't think I ever got that because like my aunts are super, like, at least not from my aunts. They're super
Right.
cool, like, and they're divorced, so they're not like gonna force that on you. My dad may ask like to crack a joke. So what? Pop the question like as a joke, but it's not like an awkward one. Most people.
But do you feel pressure like when he acts it, even though it's a joke?
Nah. I'm like, Dad, like, really?
But me less.
Stay on that side of the table, sir. No, but he'll be like, so he'll ask me, he'll be like, so is that like, is he my son-in-law now? No, because like that requires papers and he hasn't even asked, so no, leave it. You'll know, like you'll be the first to know. You'll know before
One
mom.
of the first people to know.
He'll know way before my mom. Not way before my mom. Like I'll probably tell him first because it doesn't make sense. Like I have to tell them together because if my mom slips up and says anything, my dad has told the entire world. So I might as well plan the whole wedding first, and I'll be like, "Hey, Dad, just to let you know, I got to
Need you to show up on this date.
This is the date. I've already picked out your suit. You just need to go make sure it fits perfectly and go bump your date." But I don't get those questions from family most of the time. You know, it's the outsiders that don't know my relationship. Like I'm very open with my relationship status or whatever with my family. Like, you know, oh no, we're not there yet. Oh, we've casually talked about it, but no, like, you know, that's very intimate questions.
Right.
It's usually people that feel entitled to your business that be like, what? Like, I remember I had just broken up with my ex, and it was still very sensitive. And people were just like, so when are you and so-and-so getting married? And I was just like, wow, see, that's how you know that you, one, won't be invited to the wedding, and two, it's none of your business, because had you been close enough to me, you would know the situation. And they were so embarrassed. And I'm like, and I hope this is a learning lesson for you to not ask those questions. That's the equivalent of asking somebody when you're having a kid, you don't know my complications.
Right.
They
You
are.
don't know. Exactly. And so listen, stay away from the awkward conversations and the random expectations that you have in people, whether they're single or, because even with single folks, it's kind of both, right? It's when you're getting married and when you're having a kid. It's like you get both of those questions. Whereas, you know, if you're a couple,
You dating anybody yet?
Yeah, you're dating anyone, what's going on? And it's like,
have you planned your funeral yet? Like, have you
have a will?
Yeah, like, have you done your will? Do your children know what they're getting? Like, do you know any of that? Because if your ducks aren't in a row, leave mine alone. They're very happy wandering in the pond.
Jacky and I's ducks are wandering in the pond. I love it.
They're having a grand time over there. Look, people are feeding them. They're quacking. They're not bothering anybody. Sort yours out.
Get your ducks together. Your ducks are causing chaos.
Yeah.
Mine's are having a good time. They're young. My ducks are young. So let's switch gears. Let's talk about your biggest turnoff and some of your green flags. So we wanted to ask, you know, I feel like people talk a lot about red flags, but let's talk about what your biggest turnoff is. And maybe not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a red flag for it to be a turnoff, but you know, what is your biggest turnoff, Jack? What's the biggest no someone can do? I
have two. One is, like I said, nobody's allowed to raise the voice at me. It doesn't work. It doesn't. So the moment you have a massive outburst that is unnecessary, it freaks me out because I'm not the tallest. I'm not the heaviest. I'll pick up something to defend myself, but I shouldn't have to with my person, right? So knowing, I have victims of physical abuse close to me. So a lot of that stuff is triggering to me. So if you have massive outbursts and it's not directed at like your team failing and you're just like, come on, man, what are you doing? But if it's like a huge outburst and it looks uncontrolled and most people are bigger than me, that scares me because it's like, if you can do that for like, say, the way somebody drives, like everybody has road rage, but there's different levels to it. So if you have like a huge outburst and it doesn't like simmer down quickly, that freaks me out because I'm just like, so at what point is that going to be directed at me?
Right. It's
So
only a matter of time.
Right. So I don't even get into it because I'm annoying. I am absolutely annoying. I'm like,
at least you know
what
yourself.
you doing? Bing, bing, bing. You're so cute. Let me love you. Right. That's annoying after a while.
Yeah, let me love you.
If you don't want it, that's annoying. So like, at what point are you gonna have like an explosion and just like, woof,
right?
erupt?
I know. I haven't really dove deep into this question. I would say one of my biggest turnoffs is probably, which is something that I'm working on because it's one of my biggest turnoffs, it's being too busy to make time for each other. I feel, and the reason why it's a big turnoff for someone else because it's something that I do, and I know it's a turnoff than I do to other people. So it's something that I'm trying to fix in myself. So I always think about whatever something is a red flag or turn off about someone else. I have to link, okay, do I do this? Because if I do this, then I can't expect or require someone that I'm dating to not do it if I do it. So definitely the being too busy, not being able to make time, or flaking on plans. Flaking on plans is a big, oh my, if we've made plans and now all of a sudden you're not sure if you can make it and you don't tell me until like I'm reaching out to see where you are.
Oh, that's different.
My Lanta, I will like lose my crap. Like I will lose it because
I set that flakiness early. I'm like, so I kind of want to go right now, but there's no telling what I'm going to want to do in a week. So we will make the plans, but just in that, they're tentative because I may decide that my coach is more comfy than sitting.
I mean, and you and I the same person. So like, and because I'm that type of person, because I know I can possibly get to a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm reflecting this. But I'll let you know in advance enough so that it's like not 5 minutes before and you're all ready to go. And I'm just in her like, you know what? Rain check. Like, no, I'm going to say it. But then also, so when I know I've made plans and we're like ready to go and it's time and you haven't said anything, I'm off it. Like, like you said, we shut out. I'm like done with you. It is what it is. No longer. Today's conversation was fun. It looks like we had some more. So Michael Anthony said, when it comes to your gifts, he says, let me tell you, from shopping for Jackie, it's ice cream sandwiches only. So we kind of know what the gift that we need to get for Jackie.
So quick story. I used to, I think I told this already. I used to go to the tennis courts at Elbow right after Barclay. So I'd leave Barclay and I'll go straight there. And the first thing I would do is reach into the freezer and get an ice cream sandwich, and I'll like rip, peel the paper off the top, and I'll just sit there and eat it. And Mike would be like, yes, such a pig. Because I like might go get a second one. And he'd be like, all right, pig. And that's how the nickname pig from him came. Because I have an ice cream sandwich at least once or twice a day.
That is hilarious. And coming back to the kid question, Jason says, yes, the kid question. Got another fish another day, the other day? I don't know what that is.
Yes! Fish kid!
What's that?
A fish kid. Like, I have a furry kid.
Oh, a fish kid. Got it. I was like, oh, he's a fish. I didn't, the 2 and 2 did not get together. But then just real quick before we take our last commercial break before our Feel Good Vibe of the day, Michael says no one else can call her that. So audience, just because she told you that she has this other nickname does not mean that you can call her that. That is a reserved nickname. On that note, Jackie and I are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to be back. I'm going to be testing your knowledge against Jackie for our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is Trivia Time with Terri. You do not want to go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. And if you're just joining us today, we talked about our relationship goals. We talked about what some expectations are for those that are single as well as those that are couples. And if you didn't get a chance to participate in that conversation, don't worry, you can always drop them in the comments and Jackie and I can see them later. We're going to transition now to our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is Trivia Time with Terri. If this is the first time you are joining us, you are competing against Jackie to answer the question correctly. And so we have been doing some holiday themed movie options or movie questions, trivia questions, but I'm going to add in one horror because I feel like Jackie loves the horror movie. So I'm going to try to add one horror in the middle of it. So we're going to start with a holiday and then we're going to get to horror and then we're going back to holidays. So Jackie, what movie sees Will Ferrell leave the North Pole to look for his real father? Okay, geez, she didn't even give you guys a chance. So
It's Christmas! Santa's coming!
clearly she loves that movie, so I got her. She didn't say that she's gonna get all of them correct, so we're testing her out. So the second one, what horror series turned Freddy Krueger into an icon?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh my gosh, girl! I mean, I know you know.
Get you your dreams.
Oh, I got one more, which I don't know. We're gonna see how this one goes because it's an animated movie, and I already know how you are into the animated films, but we're gonna work with it. What Hans Christian Andersen story is Frozen inspired by? Hans Christian Andersen wrote a story.
Avatar?
Frozen is inspired by it.
Avatar.
Frozen.
Or Avatar, they do all the elements. That's one of the elements. That's why I assume.
But you know the movie Frozen.
Right. So but you said it's inspired by.
Right. What? No, sis. No.
Okay, I don't know.
No.
Well, you said anime.
No, I said it's animated.
Oh, I went straight. I heard anime and I jumped.
All you heard was anime, and that was it. Like Sherry's laughing at us because she's over here trying to tell me what I think. Here we go. Okay. For the win. Mm-hmm. What Hans Christian Andersen story is Frozen, the movie, inspired by?
I still don't know the answer.
I don't know why she made me say it slow, but nonetheless, the audience didn't get it either. So I got no. Someone did get it. Michael Anthony got it. The Snow Queen, sis. The Snow Queen. Frozen, the Snow Queen.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
Okay, well, we tried. 2 out of 3. That was good. 2 out of 3. Because you was real with the other two. So
Michael, next time you're supposed to text me.
Stop. Look at her cheating herself. Sherry's laughing at you. So Sherry.
No, Sherry's laughing with me because she's in the same boat.
Sherry, we hope that your daily play goes well for you today on the Daily Hour a little bit later. As always, Jackie and I hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the Day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you so much for watching and engaging with this episode of Good Day Bermuda. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for more Feel Good conversation. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. Until the next episode, which is supported by Pizza's and Aliana's Restaurant. Peace and have a good day, Bermuda.